when you try to brief your agencies, and you will write a solid brief sheet to brief your agency about the campaigns. So they can go about creating the concept. They can come up with a theme. They know who the target audience is. They will come back to you with a recommendation of the pay media channels or whatnot. And prompt is the same thing. You are briefing AI so AI can give you a better response.
Before we get into it, I want to properly introduce today's guest, who I am proud to call a true friend. We literally just spent the last 5 minutes in the green room here, like talking about beauty tips, which I love to talk to Pam about beauty tips.
That's actually a very important thing. Anyone who wants to talk about beauty tips with Brooke and me, please.
Pam's
We'd
your
love
gal.
to have a conversation.
Pam's your gal. But what I'm even more excited to talk to Pam about than even makeup tips, which is saying a lot, is AI. And if you don't know, Pam Didner, oh no, we're doing it. Amazing. It's just as good as makeup and just as nuanced too.
Oh,
but if
totally.
you don't know Pam,
I agree with you on that one.
Pam Didner is a globally recognized B2B AI strategist. She's a keynote speaker. She's a fractional CMO. She's a 5-time author whose work sits at the intersection of sales, marketing, and AI. And she also helps Fortune 500 companies and high growth enterprises align their teams, operationalize generative AI, and turn their marketing and sales investments into measurable revenue. She's also the author of the Modern AI Marketer series, which is now refreshed for 2026. She's one of the clearest, most practical voices I know when it comes to making AI actually work alongside organizations. And I've honestly had the pleasure of seeing her speak multiple times, so I can tell you firsthand, not just because she's my friend, she is the real deal. In fact, I will give you this kudos because I don't know if you've heard it. Andy Crestodina is in a mastermind group with me, and he had you speak at Content Jam this year, and he was raving about your performance at Content
He's
Jam.
very kind. I Venmo him a lot of money. So
no, he meant it. I've seen it happen. You're not getting away with the shy, humble thing here. But anyways, y'all, all that to say, Pam, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's always wonderful having conversation with you about everything. I mean, everything, so it's great.
I want to start somewhere personal because I think it kind of sets the tone for what we're going to talk about today. And you've been writing and speaking about AI in marketing for years, long before it became cool or before, it became like the shiny new thing that we're all talking about now.
Right.
And now that we're all talking about it.
Yeah.
And every company is built with AI first. Every tool has an AI feature of some kind. Every conference has some sort of AI track or hack, right? Now it's everywhere. But from where you sit, what's actually different about where we are today in 2026 versus the AI hype of like 2 or 3 years ago? Are brands actually doing anything with AI, or are they still just kind of playing around?
Great question. And it's amazing that everybody is taking AI for granted now, even though ChatGPT was launched only on November 30th, 2022. And I wrote a little book about AI in 2019. And at that time, it's more about predictive analytics and like major brands such as Google, Amazon, like when you search on something, they will predict like in terms of what you're gonna do next. And how many times when you buy something on Amazon way back then, they will recommend other things to buy. Way back then, that's AI. That is AI. It's a predictive, right?
Yeah.
And of course, when they launch a ChatGPT, they have a pre-trained model that kind of change everything. But between now, 2022 and 2026, I think the biggest change is moving kind of like a consumer AI to like a business application AIs, if you will. way back in 2022, 2023, when ChatGPT was very hot. What we do is prompting. We're prompting about everything, right? We
Yep.
want to get answers. But in 2026, after Anthropic's launch Claude, have you noticed in Claude is about tasks?
Yes.
What tasks can we complete? So
Uh-huh.
to me, the biggest change is moving from like a consumer type of usage to kind of like a business applications. What other things can be completed by AI for the business related work? And that is the direction that we are shifting.
That makes sense. Like if finding those efficiencies to work
Yes.
smarter and not harder, reduce human capital, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
I want to talk about something else that I know is central to your philosophy because it aligns with my philosophy a lot, which is keeping a human in the loop.
Yes.
And on this show, we talk constantly about how AI can absolutely be a killer investment for customer experience or CX. It can
Right.
handle volume, but humans are the ones who build the trust. And I think that there's like tension there because everybody wants to use AI for CX, customer experience, social care, which is what we do.
Yep.
But how do you scale using AI in a customer experience program and still make it feel like humans are there and make sure that the customer is feeling something? Like, how do you think about the human in the loop as a principle, not necessarily like a safety net for AI mistakes, but as an actual competitive advantage?
That question is hard to answer. Honestly, I'm serious because I want to give a very thoughtful answer to you and your audience. If you look at the spectrum of how to use AI, there's always like, okay, we can tilt it a little bit more on the left, use AI more, or tilt it on the right, use human more.
Mhm.
And that tilting or that balance, it really depends by company to company, the industry to industry, or even workflow to workflow. Okay. So when should we inject human and at what stage that human needs to get involved? Not at the point, like you said, at a disaster. Oh my God, something happened. We need to involve human. That's way too late. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how do we kind of maintain that? And I don't think any company or any department or any one of us has cracked that code, honestly, because
Fair.
it depends, right?
Hmm.
So that just use customer experience as example. If a customer experience, if it's a 1-800 number that somebody can call, obviously we know the initial stage or the initial touch point is possibly taken care of by AI. AI probably will have the interaction with you. So that first touch point is an AI conversation. Human is going to have a conversation with AI. A lot of time that's the way to scale because if you have a huge amount of call coming in, you need some sort of filtering process. And having by
Yes.
doing that, that's the right things to do. However, the quality of AI or the local model of that AI is super important. Is how you train that AI to adjust or to answer the questions. And how can you make that questions or how the AI responds to be very comprehensive? And
Yes.
that to me, that part, it's hard to do it right. Granted, now more and more local model or small local model or small large language models are developing, but we are still in the process trying to optimize that. Is that helpful? So
Yeah.
to me, the human part of it, it really depends on how good your small local model is. What is your confidence level in terms of how AI can really take on some of those tasks? Ranges from simple, semi-complicated to a whole lot complicated type of questions that it needs to answer. So how confident are you about your small local model? That will determine in terms of what is the human's involvement and engagement should be. Is that helpful? To me, like the confidence level and the quality of that model is super important. If you don't have a high confidence, you know what? Inject more humans to it. There's not
Yeah.
much to it. That's just gauge it. You don't really
Yeah.
need to have like, okay, do I need to actually have like 75% or 78% confidence level? No, sometimes it's just a gut feel.
Yeah.
And that will help you to dictate the human resource allocation. So to me, it's that quality that, am I saying something?
No, no, I liked what you said. I just was repeating what you said.
Oh, so sweet, so sweet. And I completely forgot what I just said.
Oh no. It's okay. Human resource allocation. I was like, yeah, I mean that's what it is. Human
Yeah, it
resource
is.
allocation.
So
Yeah.
then determine how confident you are with AI model and then what kind of resource you want to allocate on the human side. So
In
that
that
that would be
same
my take.
vein,
That would be my
yeah,
take.
no, I'm totally aligned. You have to have confidence in what you're doing. You have to know what tool you're using. You have to make sure the tool works. Checks and balances, iterations, all those things.
Mhm.
I think in that same vein, a lot of brands are using AI for social media right now. And that makes sense, right? Because content is kind of becoming a commodity with AI because you can generate captions, you can schedule your content, you
Yeah,
can
and you can
auto
repurposing them
respond. Yeah,
many formats.
repurpose. Yes, repurposing. I love using AI for repurposing. Auto responding to comments though is becoming a thing. And on the surface, I think those things feel really efficient. But my concern is when AI starts handling that social layer,
Yeah.
especially the comments without, human judgment and oversight. To me, it feels like you're scaling noise a little bit. Like, how do you feel, I guess? What's your take on AI and social when it comes to the comments? Like, we know people are going to use it to create content. I'm not here to fight that battle. That's not the hill I want to die
I
on. But
know.
the AI commenting, I'm starting to get a little like, okay, I don't know if
I
this is
do agree with you. I mean,
okay.
honestly, so I'm just being very honest. I will read comments like people left, and I
Mhm.
will literally guess like that's an AI comment.
You can tell. You can tell. Well,
Absolutely.
I can tell anyways.
I mean,
I guess though I can
seriously,
tell what the obvious ones.
it's a very obvious. It's way too proper. Number one, it doesn't like a human talk. It's
Yes.
too proper.
Yes.
And also use the words you feel a little flowery and you feel like it's all very pompous, you know?
Ah, pompous.
And
That's a
I
great
will
way.
read it
Yeah.
and I was like, okay. And the other thing is, like, if they are actually the people who leave comments and English is not their second language, I just can't tell, right?
Yeah.
So I think, and
It's
then there are tools out there. Actually, somebody tried to sell me this tool. Basically, I can comment 24/7 to a targeted account. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I mean, I either spend time commenting on it or I don't spend time doing it. Yes,
yeah.
you are totally right for prospects. Like they are prospects I want to reach out because they are
Yeah.
the prospect I want to reach out, then I need to make an effort.
Because connection and trust, I feel like comes from us, not machines.
You
I'm
know
with
what
you on
I'm
that. Like
saying?
I
I need to
understand
make an effort.
automation.
Right. If I'm not
Yeah.
making an effort, I don't deserve to win that prospect. But on the
Thank
other
you.
hand, can you use AI to actually make it easier for you? Of course. But in terms of comment, I have a strong point of view about that. And
Yeah,
I know
same.
I respect people who use it. I totally understand and I get it. And to me, that's absolutely a personal preference and a personal
Yeah.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about your new book because you have like over 95 tested prompts across sales and marketing. And you have a whole dedicated section on social. And one of the things I love about your approach to prompting is that it's not about AI getting to do the work for you. The way I took it is that it's about AI getting to do better work with
With
you.
you. Yes.
Yeah. And so for someone who is managing those social conversations at scale, right? So community managers, social care teams, maybe customer experience practitioners,
Yeah.
whoever it may be, what does good AI prompting actually look like in that context? Like, what's the difference between a prompt that produces those kind of generic AI slop answers or comments and one that actually sounds like your brand?
So there are several factors that needs to be added into a good prompt. And again, there's no shortcut. Everybody was, I'm going to write a prompt, something will be produced. Yes, something will be produced.
Yes, something
Like,
will.
is it good?
Probably not. Yeah.
So, in general, what I always tell my attendees who actually come to my session is, when you try to brief your agencies, and you will write a solid brief sheet to brief your agency about the campaigns. So they can go about creating the concept. They can come up with a theme. They know who the target audience is. They will come back to you with a recommendation of the paid media channels or whatnot. And prompt is the same thing. You are briefing AI so AI can give you a better response. So if you give AI solid information, for example, you are writing a campaign, you are writing a LinkedIn post, not Instagram post, you are writing LinkedIn post, and you basically said, hey, you are speaking on your behalf. You tell them, it's like a prompt for Pam Didner, who is a B2B marketing consultant, AI speaker, whatever. And you should look at the past post, what I have done. And also, this is targeted for whom, what are the specific topic, or a couple key points. Like, you need to have a point of view, right? For example, you're like, I want to have a point of view. I want you, AI, to inject these couple points as a part of LinkedIn post. So you give AI enough information to differentiate you from the others. Then it should give you something slightly better. However, when I give you the prompt example, they are starting points, everyone. I'm giving you a starting point. I want you to edit, I want you to modify, I want you to add information on top of it. But this is a starting point to get you like, oh, okay, this is how I'm going to write it. Frankly, honestly, you don't even have to buy a book. You don't have to buy this book. You can basically just go to a prompt, say, write this prompt for blah, 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 give additional information, and then AI can write a prompt for you for AI. AI write prompts for AI. You can do that too. But the thing is, you need to have a vision or specific ideas. What do you want to convey? That to me is very important. Don't ever lose that. What do you want to say? And what is your point of view?
Right. I think people who don't have a point of view, which, let's be honest, there's some people who just don't, AI does a disservice to those people because they don't have that POV. I love what you said. I wanted to underscore this for everybody who's watching or listening. Write this one down, what Pam just said. Just like you would create a brief, a content brief for a client or for your own firm, whatever, in your own team or other teams, create a brief for AI. Hello, that's so smart.
And by the way, sometimes my prompt is longer than the response. That's fine. I'm actually okay with that.
Better
I give them enough information and it's better output. And it's quality over quantity, right? The output is shorter. Doesn't mean longer is better, or sometimes it does, but not necessarily in every situation.
Yeah.
So that's my thought. I'm seriously, from my perspective, give enough context so that AI can actually help you. And like I said, you need to have a point of view. If you are a marketer, you already have a certain kind of point of view. Then stand up for it, honestly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Something else I want to dig in with you because I have you here, and this comes up constantly with our enterprise clients. So we work with a lot of large organizations, and they don't get to choose their AI tool, right? It's usually like being handed to them. So IT may come in and say, you're using Copilot. Yeah. You're using Claude. We're using ChatGPT, full stop, right? They have no say in the matter. And I know you've talked about this extensively. And by the way, you actually have a dedicated Copilot chapter in your new book. So if you are on Copilot,
nobody likes Copilot.
Nobody does, but Pam does trainings. She has a whole chapter in her book. So go read it if you are. But my question is for brands who are operating inside of these, enterprise AI constraints, what do they need to understand about making Copilot or whatever the tool is actually work for marketing and social? And are there specific use cases where it shines for teams managing social marketing, those types of things?
First of all, that just get this out of the way. Whenever I told everyone like I'm a Copilot trainer, everybody was like, "Are you okay? Something happened to you? Did you kind of went through some sort of dramatic, life-changing experience? Like you want to put yourself in such a misery?" But I agree with you 100%. And I always tell my audience, you know what? I'm only teaching it. You have to use it day in and day out. Ha ha ha. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, but what I want to say is 2 years ago, that perception is like Copilot. It's just not very good. And it was correct. It was not very good. And then now they actually use Claude and also OpenAI large language models as the backend. And
Okay.
so whatever information that you are enter into, say, Copilot right now, the large language model they use in the backend is basically Claude and also OpenAI's ChatGPTs. So there's not a huge difference. So the quality wise is probably very similar. Just want everybody to understand that. That's number one. Number two is for longest time, people go to Claude, they build a skill, and which is fantastic. And with the skill.md, you can make a lot of your projects or tasks scalable. Well, they actually did an early adoption program with many enterprises to actually not clone, that sounds bad. They developed the co-work features in Copilot. They made that general available, I think on June 19th, which is 2 weeks ago. So if
Yeah.
you actually go to Copilot right now, there are two tabs. One is chat, the other one is co-work. So the
Oh,
co-work looks very similar to Claude. However, the biggest downside of that is you can use Skilled.imd, you can use Cowork in Copilot right now, which is great, but it's expensive. It's on top. The token usage is on top of your licensing fee. So if you actually just do a very simple task, it's probably going to cost you $1 to $2. But if you do somehow very complex tasks, in-depth research analysis, it may cost you up to $15 per pop. So it's expensive.
okay.
Just be
Yeah.
aware that if you use Cowork in Copilot, there's an incremental cost. In fact, that's probably no different than your $20 subscription, and then you run over it and you have to pay additional usage unless you are max user on Claude. If you pay $100 a month, you got such a mileage out of it. Unfortunately, they don't have that pricing on the Copilot side just yet. I'm pretty sure they probably will implement that in the future. But in the meantime, is whatever your seats and the licensing fee plus the incremental token usage. So Copilot, at the end of the day, at this point, it's not bad. I think the perception is out there like, oh my God, it was so bad. Ugh, you cry. But right now, it's not. It's actually quite good, honestly.
Okay, good. That's
And
good. I didn't know all this, so I'm learning. I'm learning alongside you, audience.
yeah,
This
you
is
know what?
great.
Nobody uses Copilot unless they unless they have to. I get
Well,
it.
we're an Office 365 company, and so we're testing Claude and Copilot right now.
Copilot, yeah.
So it's interesting that you're saying all this about Copilot because now I can go back to the team and be like, "Hey, this is what I heard about Copilot." So
Should.
maybe
Yeah.
we could use Copilot
You
because it
should
has
just,
Claude, but the
yeah,
price, I don't know.
I
Yeah.
would. The thing is, either way, Brooke, it's not going to be cheap for you. If you are
Yeah.
in 365 environment, if you actually have a full claw integrated into your M365 environment, you know what? Your token usage is going to go up anyway. So there's incremental cost that you're going to pay on the claw side. But
Yeah.
if you are using Cowork on the Copilot, they are going to charge you as well. So
Yeah.
my thought on this is just be very conscious about your budget because it can go beyond your budget very quickly. It's a budget discussion at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I hope the team's not listening, but I don't know if I trust y'all to keep inside of budget. So yeah, that's another conversation for another day. I want to talk about something else that you talk about a lot, which is how AI is reshaping the buyer journey and
Yes,
how
completely.
prospective customers are increasingly relying on AI for recommendations and information, which is making AI now that first touch point before they go to your website or before perhaps they talk to your brand. We actually talked about this on a recent episode also with Danny Kirk, who
Mhm.
we were talking about Reddit and GEO, and
Yeah.
he was saying how the conversations happening on social are literally training AI that recommends brands. And so my question for you is, from a sales and marketing alignment perspective, how does, like, again, I'm being selfish, I'm asking this for me, how does social care fit into that picture? Because the way I see it, every social conversation a brand has publicly is now doing double duty. We're serving the customer, but we're also now feeding and training the AI that influences the next customer's decision. Is that right? Like, am I thinking about that correctly?
Yes, you are. I think there are several layers to this, and let me see if I can break that down. Okay. So there are AI visibility AEO layer, which is you have to optimize your website or you have to optimize your third party presence and to make sure that increase that probability of AI visibility when AI makes recommendations. And in the past with Google, like Google have, kind of like a pay recommendation and they have tons of organic recommendation, like a follow after the pay, right?
Yep.
And there's a
Yep.
lot of recommendation and people can click, 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 click. Right now, it's almost like one shot. So, what is your recommendation for the restaurant? And then it's like, okay, AI was like, these are like my four recommendations. Like, it's
Yeah.
like that, it's kind of like a one shot, right? You either
Yeah.
make it or you don't make it, right? That sounds very harsh, but that's kind of that. And so there is AO layer, and then to me, that's you have to optimize your website. There's not much to it from my perspective. And then you have to also spend some money on the third party presence, which is a lot of work. It's AI is creating so much work for humans. It's insane. And then there's
Yes.
another layer, which is like the social layer that you focus on, which is other people's communication to that, right? So that part of it, sometimes you don't really have control or you can facilitate. But from my perspective, the conversation is happening all the time. Chances are the brands probably don't have a full control of it. It may
Right.
can address the issues, at the different channels and to correct customers' perceptions, make an effort. I think that's all good. But on the social layer is so wide. I don't know, Brooke, how you do social listening nowadays.
Yeah, well, a lot of it. We do a lot of it. And then there's two things a client can do, right? We can listen and then we can find those keyword conversations about the brand, stakeholders, products, whatever. We can passively collect that voice of customer data.
Yeah.
Our preference is, yes, passively collect that and actively join the conversation. So if they're asking a question, be
Yeah.
helpful. If they're making a complaint, fix the
Fix the
friction.
problems. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just to me is a second layer. And then there's another layer that is really like the first touch point, which is the customer journey. It's beyond the recommendation. Like somebody just like, oh, who is the social care expert? And the Brooke, your name comes up. Yay.
Oops. So, I
And
mean,
then that's
yeah.
kind of like, oh, I made I make a mental note. And then when I have a conference, I was like, I need to find somebody can actually talk about social CX. Oh, Brooke. Then I go to your website. That's assume that's the first touch point. But I got that information,
But you
obviously.
really got it from AI.
I
Yeah.
got it from AI. But in general, what I have noticed right now is mainly I ask everybody who come to my website organically, and I always ask, how did you find me? It's always combination of organic Google search, organic LinkedIn search, and then there's AI recommendation. And a
It's so
lot of
funny.
people
That's what I
a
see a
lot of
lot
people
too.
use all three of them. I'm talking about on the B2B side.
Yeah.
Okay. So they
Yeah.
are not using, it's not mutually exclusive. They're using all the channel merge combine, go back and forth here and there. You know what I'm saying? So now I started the customer journey and I say, hey, I have a conference. I want to explore if I can use Brooke, right? So and I started reaching out to you and go to your website. But sometimes that first touch point can come from AI, and AI do the outreach first if you set up automatic
Interesting.
process.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So all of a
Yeah.
sudden, from my perspective, the first touch point in the future is AI talking to AI.
Yes, I
On the
can get
supply
behind that
side, on the
actually.
demand
Yeah.
side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're not
Yeah.
asking AI like what are the top three software platform, and then so AI make that recommendation. But at the same time, when people try to sell something to us, that first touch point is the AI come to us, try to sell something to us before they pass that. All of a sudden I become a qualified leads, and then AI pass that to human. So if you
Oh,
think about
yeah.
it, the seller side and the buyer side, the first touch point is AI talking to AI themselves.
I
That
mean,
just
yes. No,
that just sounds
I think
sad, does it?
it
That just
does,
sounds
but I
sad.
think you're on to something. I really think yes. I think that's probably what's going to happen, where we're going.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because there are so many things and options out there, and the humans, we cannot, if we have too many choices, we're just
It's
crumbling down.
analysis
Okay.
paralysis.
We
Yeah, it's
need
the Cheesecake
somebody to,
Factory menu, right?
yeah,
You're
we
just
need
like
somebody to
76
filter
pages.
things out for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. One other thing that I absolutely must ask you about, because you
Sure.
talk a lot about connecting marketing to revenue, which is basically the whole argument that we try to make for social care as well, right? Like if you want
Yeah.
return on investment from social because everybody says they don't have it, it's because you're not doing social care. You're not tying it to revenue KPIs. So when AI is involved in social and marketing work, all the work that we do, how does measurement need to change? Because what are you working with your clients on metrics to help actually tell the story of if our AI is actually working? Are we seeing results versus just using it and we feel like something happens, but I think a lot of times we're confusing motion with progress.
It's very hard to measure AI's efficiency and effectiveness in the context of revenue. So I want to make that very clear. It's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. I mean, honestly, it's very hard to even measure humans' contribution to revenue. And now we are going to measure AIs, right? That's all just be very serious. We cannot even solve the first problem. Now it is another layer of complexity. We were like, oh, crumbling down.
No.
So the way I usually look at it or working with my clients is we kind of break it down where the AI that they use a lot. So for example, like on the sales side, and I'm going to use a couple examples, and then
Yeah.
you can tell me if that makes sense. For example, I want to use sales, and I'll come back to marketing. On the sales side is that all the sales transcript, the conversations being recorded and the feed into AI, and then they will spill out in terms of what are the better messagings or the better way that salespeople can talk about their products. And if you actually use the messaging, you can kind of start tracking for that quarter or for that several quarters after that. You see kind of like a revenue shift, revenue changes, or revenue acceleration. So you need to be very intentional about it. Like you focus on one or two variables and then see if that really changing anything. So that's one way
Yeah.
of doing it. On the marketing side, what do we usually care the most and that has a direct impact to revenue is MQL. right? It's like, so if we actually do use AI extensively to modify our messaging, changing out and do A/B testing faster, or changing our creative based on AI's recommendations, whatever that is, again, you have to do a control environment a bit for a while to see if you use AI to do some of those work, is that changing the goal that much?
Yeah,
You have to do that actually for not just like 1 or 2 months. It's usually 6 to 8 months at a time to
that
actually
makes
see
sense.
if there are changes. So
It makes sense.
that's more kind of like a direct revenue impact. The other one is automation, which is you
Uh-huh.
don't focus on the revenue impact, you focus on efficiency gain. In the
Yeah.
past, it usually take to get an RFQ ready. That I'm sorry, yeah, response for yeah RFP. If you want to get that ready, usually take like a week turnaround. Now with AI, it's literally 4 hours. Let's assume that.
Right. Right.
Then that's to me, that's an efficiency gain, and
It's a
that should
gain.
be
Yeah.
counted as well. But that not necessarily have a direct impact to revenue.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there,
Right. But well,
I,
maybe it does in the roundabout way, but you're saving
you're
human
saving
capital.
time, but you're
Yeah.
saving capital, but there's not revenue generation.
Right.
Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to be very cognizant from my perspective is the management needs to fully understand if they want to use if they want to use AI and they really want to track if AI is bring the efficiency or the revenue impact to them, they have to be very specific in terms of what they want to track. But honestly, at this point, can I also be very honest with everybody?
Please.
And I'm using myself as an example. I'm using a lot of tools. I'm doing a lot of efficiency and testing. So I'm trying to automate a lot of my processes. That means I buy a lot of tools to make that happen. I also hire an AI automation specialist to work with me. I know in the future I will gain efficiency, but the amount of money I'm spending right now outpace anything I'm gaining.
You've got to invest in the
You
deep
have
work
to
and the
invest.
investment itself. Yeah.
Exactly. So that if you take the initial investment against the potential revenue gain in the future, I can tell you it's not close because your initial investment is going to be big at
Yeah.
the
That's a
enterprise level.
great tip. Yeah. I think that's why that's good for people to know, though. It's not, we think of it as like free or cheap because they have the free versions or the $20 a month versions, but to set it up for an organization, I think
Yeah.
takes a lot more work and a lot more investment and a lot more deep thought.
Yeah. True. True.
Yeah.
And no shortcut. I mean, everybody's looking for shortcut. I was like, none. Okay, everyone.
Yeah. Please no. Yeah. Before I let you go, I would like for you to tell us about the new book. So you've refreshed the modern AI
Marketer,
marketer in the GPT area and the modern AI marketer,
full
the guide to
prompts.
Gen A prompts, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So what's new in them? What's in them, period? And where can people find them?
Oh, you can find it on Amazon. Just go Amazon. And this is like literally 170 pages. So it's not a lot. And you can jump around. The way I write the chapters is you can jump around and read it. You can look at chapter content and then basically say, oh, yeah, who cares about AI history? Skip that. Who cares about understanding AI might skip that. You can like jump around and then read it. You will not get
Nice.
lost. Okay.
Okay.
And I added the Copilot and also ChatGPT here. I mean Copilot and the Claude here as well. So this is more kind of like how you should approach AI. You think about it. If you've been using AI, like using prompt in the past 2 years, and you want to think a little bit differently, this book is for you. Or if you are kind of like just starting doing AI, I have a lot of customers that they were like, I only use prompt like occasionally. I don't know how to use it. Well, this book is great. And like I said, you can jump around and you can read when you are watching Netflix. So it's a very easy read and there's no hype. And it's very much know how and then focus on B2B marketers.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
this
it's
is just a
super
prompt.
tactical, which
It's a
is
very tactical. It's very
yes,
tactical. I'm
which
not
is
here
what
to
I
give you,
want as a
I'm not giving
reader.
you a
Yeah.
series. I mean, you know the theories and the trends, whatever. And I'm not even talking about compliance. I'm not even talking about ethics. It's like I just
Just how to do
focus
the
on just
thing.
now to do
Yeah.
things and
Yeah.
how you should approach it, how you should think about it. That's it. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it. Well, and then also tell everybody where they can find you. Like, where do you hang out?
Oh, LinkedIn. I actually are pretty active on all social media channel. When I say
Okay.
active, it's once a week. It's active.
That's active. Hey, that's active. That's active.
All right, but I'm very active on LinkedIn. I think
Okay.
for business professionals, I'm a B2B marketers. Obviously, by default, is actually LinkedIn. And the other one is hello@pamdidner.com. That's my email address. If you have specific questions, you would like to have therapy sessions, as you know, I completely understand. Sometimes you just like, I need to cry. I get it. I get it. I get it. And yeah, if you have any questions, just reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to
Awesome.
help out.
Awesome. I will include all of those links. So both of the books, the website, the LinkedIn page for Pam, I'll put her email, all of that in the transcript notes. So wherever you're watching or listening, just head down to the transcript underneath like the video or on the show itself, and you'll see those links and you'll be able to click over and connect with Pam. So please go do that because Pam has been amazing. Thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you so much for having me, girl. Yay!
Of course. Anytime, always. As you heard Pam say, AI isn't coming for social media, it's already here. The brands that are navigating it well, meaning the use of AI, won't be the ones using the most tools or automating the most interactions. As you heard Pam say, there's a lot of discernment and intent and deep work and critical thinking that goes into it. The brands who do succeed with AI in social media, social care, or customer experience, CX, will be the ones who figure out exactly where that human has to stay in the loop. And then they will build their systems around that. As always, if this show is helping you think differently about customer experience, social media, ROI on social media, social care, please rate and review us. It helps us bring on more brilliant voices like Pam and keeps our community growing with intention. Until next time, think conversation, not campaign.